This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Slow down and enjoy the moment. I wonder what it'd be like to close my eyes and give myself permission. If I could lose a year or two, I'd want it to be with you.
Following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you already know that because, shit, I think we're in episode 1221. It doesn't matter who the host is. It has always mattered who the listeners are. Today's Thursday, October the 16th of 2025, day 289th of the year, and only 76 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big, streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Okay, so how have you been? At least it's been 24 hours since the last time we hung out. At least 24 hours. So how's it been for you? How are things? How are things flowing? How are things going? All that kind of fun stuff that we like to discuss because people want to bring that stuff up. So hopefully everything's been good and grand inside of your neck of the woods, as I like to make reference to. If not, let's see what we can do to change it. Anyways, our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's kind of what we talk about here. And then we kind of go down this whole plethora of stuff in regards to what we can do. If you want to interact with the show, it's an easy process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio. That's CALLINRADIO.com. Once you get there, it's going to give you some options, video, audio, and text messaging. That's video, audio, and text messaging. Once you get there, boom, you make your pick. I get a little prompt on the screen over here, and I go, voila, that's what's going on, and then we move forward. Simple process of doing so. So our show consists of it being a radio show that goes into a podcast network that goes into a video streamer. Kind of goes in that particular angle. SafetyFM.com, RadioBig.fm. Of course, we're in iHeartRadio, Odyssey. Pretty much anything that streams radio, we're there. If not, you can just pick up our individual apps on doing so. If not, you can listen to us on the podcast version that comes out almost directly after we're done, just a few minutes after the 7 o'clock hour. We'll prop out the podcast version because this is hour 1 of 3. Hour 2 and 3 consist of the Jay Allen of the Morning Show, which we do on RadioBig.fm, just in case if you're wondering. And then we kind of move forward and go around through that whole thing. Safety in the news and safety is what we do during hour number 1. And then, of course, we bring in our friends and newscasters all across the planet to talk a little bit about this, a little bit about that, and that's how we move forward. So with that being said, why don't we start talking about what the hell was trending in the overnight?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I take a look at the trends of the ends, notable and noteworthy new cars set records for average sale price. We'll talk about that here in just one bit. Also, Diddy's post-prison plans are revealed, and more from the Kevin Federline memoir. We'll talk about that in show business. And also, ready for this? Demon Slayer breaks records, and Kevin Costner is seething. We'll talk about that in details in the casting calls. And then in some other news, Meg's latest groundbreaking and brilliant scheme unveils inside of the Royals. So that's what we got. So if you're ready to do this, I have my friends from Feature Story News ready to talk to you in regards of what the hell's going on. So let's go ahead and do that right now. And let's go ahead and get into some news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in the UK, I'm John Beaver. The European Commission is set to unveil a major new defence plan today. Counter-drone programmes will feature prominently following a slew of high-profile aerial incursions over recent weeks. William Denslow reports from Brussels.
The European Defence Readiness 2030 plan has been in the works for months and seeks to address capability gaps at land, sea and air, as well as in cyberspace. According to a draft, the initiative seeks to provide a sufficiently strong defence posture to credibly deter adversaries. The EU hopes to unlock roughly $900 billion to create a security framework that will deter Russian aggression. The plan includes a drone wall to help respond to aerial incursions like those seen in nations including Poland and Denmark over recent weeks. Moscow has denied involvement, but NATO's also announced its own plans to ramp up its counter-drone initiatives.
The Israeli government has accused Hamas of purposely delaying the return of deceased hostages, which makes up part of the ceasefire agreement. Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
2 bodies transferred to Israel by Hamas on Wednesday night have been identified as Israeli hostages, including a soldier killed on October 7th and a woman taken from the Nova Music Festival. 19 deceased hostages now remain in Gaza, but Hamas says it has recovered all of the bodies that it is able to reach and claims special equipment will be needed to retrieve more. Defense Minister Israel Katz has threatened to resume fighting if Hamas does not honor the ceasefire deal, saying he ordered the military to prepare a plan to crush the group if the war restarts. Blake Sifton, Tel Aviv.
President Donald Trump says Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has assured him that India will stop purchasing Russian oil. The US has blamed India for fueling Moscow's war machine and slapped 25% additional tariffs on New Delhi in an effort to stop Russia's war in Ukraine. Ishan Gurg reports.
The idea that India could be reducing its Russian oil purchases or stopping it completely, as President Donald Trump says, still needs to be clarified by the Indian side. But if it does happen, it could certainly be a big impetus for New Delhi and Washington to get that trade deal across the line. Now, we have seen some changes in India's patterns of buying Russian oil in the past few months. It is noteworthy to say that India hasn't reduced drastically its purchases of Russian oil. In the past year or so, they have stood at around 2 million barrels per day of Russian oil, and now they have dipped slightly but not in a significant manner. But we do know that India's state-owned refiners have cut down their purchases of Russian oil while private refiners have increased.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Amid all the talk about Gaza's future, the need for even a short-term governance plan for the territory, President Trump's aspirations to see it rebuilt, the urgent requirement for humanitarian assistance in massive quantities, there is another very complicated issue that requires attention. Amid all the rubble created by the Israeli war on Gaza over the last 2 years, unexploded munitions pose a massive threat for the safety of Palestinians returning to their destroyed homes. Andrew Moore is Middle East Regional Director of the Halo Trust, the organisation founded by the late Princess Diana to focus on the clearance of landmines and other munitions from conflict zones.
Gaza presents distinct challenges. It's a very dense environment, heavily populated, and the destruction is huge. And of course, we're uncertain about what the governance will hold. But the key thing is, buried amongst all of that rubble will be lots of unexploded bombs and ordnance that need to be disposed of safely in order for the reconstruction to happen and for aid to be delivered safely. It litters roads and routes as well. So it's essential that we get as many of our bomb disposal experts into Gaza as quickly as possible to ensure that people are as safe as possible and aid and reconstruction can happen as safely and as efficiently as possible.
He says teams are standing by to travel to Gaza, but it is unclear when they will receive the permission and the funding to head there. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, the European Commission is set to unveil a major new defence plan. Counter-drone programmes will feature prominently following a slew of high-profile aerial incursions over recent weeks. The Israeli government has accused Hamas of purposefully delaying the return of deceased hostages, which makes up part of the ceasefire agreement. And President Trump claims India will stop purchasing Russian oil. The US applied 25% additional tariffs on New Delhi in an effort to stop Russia's war in Ukraine. That's the latest feature story news. John Beaver reporting.
You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion. The book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork.
When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Oh, yes, there you go. A lot of stuff going on. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and doing our stuff here on this lovely Thursday. So why don't we go ahead and get into it and start talking about some of the stuff that's going on inside of the multiverse of things that are happening inside of our world. So let's get into this real quick. A seasonally colored lobster is now living in its best life in the Northern Eastern University Marine Science Center in Massachusetts, thanks to a local lobsterman who turned it over. A rare orange and black calico lobster named jack-o'-lantern will live in its long life. A fellow rare-colored, a rare color blue lobster named Neptune. Fun fact, there's only one in every 30 million lobsters called, which is a calico. A calico, this is according to Northeastern Global. I don't know why we're starting off with lobster stories today, but we are. So that's where we're at. Why don't we talk about some other stuff, because that's what we're going to need to do here. With the government shutdown in full swing, the bears in Yellowstone Park are having a blast. Park rangers who intervene when a bear finds its way onto the paved road have been furloughed, causing an increase in bear jams. Yep, that's not a joke when I say bear jams across the park. On a dangerous note, that also means that there's no authorities around to keep people in their cars and stop them when approaching the bears. Worth noting, if you're too stupid to know that walking up to a brown or to a grown black bear is a bad idea, you have to, you know what's coming to you. This is according to SF Gate. Just think about that for a moment. Seriously.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so here we go. Let's continue talking. I hope you're sitting for this one, because it's going to be important when I say the next thing. We talked a lot about it just a
tiny bit at the very beginning of the show.
But here it is. The average price of a new car has soared by $10,000 over the last 5 years, topping over $50,000 for the first time ever last month. A growing adoption of electric vehicle contributed significantly to the price hike, bolstered by the $7,500 tax credit for such vehicles that expired at the end of September. Affluent buyers also sheltered out big bucks for high-end models, with those sold for more than $75,000, composing of a 7.4% on new car sales. The same time, the average monthly payment exceeds $750 for a new whip, with buyers stretching payments for over 7 years, and only 20% of the buyers putting more than $1,000 down for the purchase of this thing. So think about that real quick. $50,000 for a car. If you don't structure that correctly, you'll be looking at a potential car payment of over $750. So yeah, sounds like things are getting a little wild out there in regards to price points when you start thinking about it. But hey, what do I know? I mean, I'm just a guy here behind a microphone talking about stuff. Seriously.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, crazy times, no doubt about that. Anyways, a Texas 23-year-old Texan man faces felony charges after police say that he broke into a real Salt Lake Stadium in Utah only to steal a single Diet Coke. Yep, a single Diet Coke. Authorities responded to the trespassing report only to find the suspect, Sean Matthews, sitting in a chair at an empty stadium when he told them that he scaled the wall to get into the use the Saskatchewan use of crowd control to break into the fridge. Through the fridge was not locked. All of the hijinks that were caught on tape. Stadium officials say that Matthew caused $17,000 in property damage. Matthew has been charged with causing property damage and burglary. No word on why he pulled off the stunt. This is according to KSL. KSL. So you jumped into a stadium to steal a Diet Coke. Listen, there's no justification of stealing anything. But you got caught for a Diet Coke. Let's go high end here. Let's just go high end for a moment. Let's say $3 to $5 if you're at a convenience store. You know, I mean, we're really over exaggerating in some prices here. At least on this date of October the 16th of 2025. And then all of a sudden you caused $17,000 worth of property damage, got nailed for trespassing, and then on top of that, stole a Diet Coke. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any logical sense to me.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. 60 is the new 30. I don't know who ever said that because I read it. I sure didn't say it. Anyways, a study found that the University of Western Australia considered 4 psychological factors: intelligence, personality, emotional intelligence, and decision making. While the research acknowledged that the speed of thought processing peaks on human beings in their 20s, the quality of decision peaks between 55 and 60. More broadly, humans make their best decisions between the ages of 40 and 65, but wait, clear declines in sound decision making starts to kick off between 65 and 70. Oh, so I still have some bad decisions in my future. That's good to know. Seriously. So hold on. I've spent so many years already in my good decision-making time. I didn't realize that. I thought it would had already all went downhill, but I guess I'm wrong when it comes to all that stuff. So there you go. There you go. Okay, so what else do we got going on? Let's talk about the swamp because I think that's going to be important to do. While Senate Democrats continue to refuse to vote on open the government, here are some items in their list of demands. So this giving you some info here. While let's see. $24.6 million for climate resilience in Honduras, $13.4 million of civic engagement in Zimbabwe, $3.9 million to LGBTQ plus Democrats grants in Balkans, $2.9 million in desert locust reduction in Africa, $2 million to Organization for Feminist Democrat Principles in Africa. All told, wish list, the total is $1.5 trillion as the nation's green stores racking up $40 trillion in debt, and all to stick it to Trump. In the meantime, not paying the soldiers. And, of course, this is according to what the editor has to say. So what do you think? A lot of stuff there. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like that pork of the land shit that gets added into a lot of these stuff, normally referred to earmarks. In regards to some of this stuff. This is why I hate talking about politics. I am not a fan of talking about politics in regards to what happens. Because, you should have your own choices. Like, I'm so confused sometimes when people are like, you have to vote only this way, this way, this way. I mean, make your own decision. I mean, come on. It's just a weird thing. I should probably shut up while I'm ahead.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this one. Last week, New York Attorney General Letitia James was slapped with a federal indictment on accusation of mortgage fraud. The suit alleges that the misclassified a second home in Virginia currently occupied by James' grandniece. Get a load of this. The Daily Mail reports that Thompson, the niece, is a probation jumping fugitive. The North Carolina Department of Corrections says that Thompson had been on the probation for assault and battery and trespassing and has willfully avoided probation supervision, adding that she is considered a fugitive and that Thompson faces arrest if she is located in North Carolina. But due to the level of nature of her crimes, she's considered a non-extractable from Virginia. So, is no one above the law or no? I mean, I'm just asking. Kind of a weird one. Just some things to think about for sure, as we are talking. So let's talk about the numbers because people are going to care about
that stuff.
The Dow fell 17 points to close at 46,253 on Wednesday. The S&P gained about 26 points to close at 6,671, and the Nasdaq increased by 148 points to close at 22,670. West Texas Intermediate closed at $58 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $62 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.06 on Wednesday. And Bitcoin fell down 1.5%, trading around $111.3 thousand on Wednesday. Friday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $625 million jackpot or a $288.8 million cash payout. So if you
want to play the game,
it's time to do so.
So there you go. You have some options there, as always, to do that, because why would you not want to? Okay, so take a listen to this. We talked about this at the top of the hour a little bit. So let's get into it a little bit more. Follow up. After Sean Combs completes his behind bars sentencing, he will participate in an outpatient treatment program for drug abuse and mental health issues. He will also enroll in a court-approved domestic violence program. Combs will be barred from owning, possessing, or having access to a firearm or a destructive device containing his contacting his victims, and must submit to random searches. Meanwhile, it's unclear exactly where he will serve his 50-month sentence, though the judge seemed to agree that the idea that he be locked up near New York City metropolitan area so he can be near his family. This is according to Real 92.3. Yes, I did say Real 92.3. Let's see where they're based out of. It doesn't say where they're based out of. So there you go. But they do have an interesting picture of Combs. There you go. There you go. There's a picture that they decided to post. So there you have it. We'll see what happens. I am sure that this is not over. I'm sure it's not going to be as long as well, I don't know. I was going to say, I'm sure it's not going to be as long as the Justin Baldini, Blake Lively thing, but that's bullshit. Because if he's serving 50 months, it's definitely going to be longer than that. So there you go. Okay, what else is going on? Another excerpt of Kevin Federline's new memoir, You Thought You Knew, details on how Britney Spears allegedly cheated on him with a female backup dancer while they were dating. Caught in the act, Federline says that he wanted out of the relationship, but Spears allegedly started apologizing, explaining, and promising it would never happen again. It eventually became water under the bridge as the two would go on to get married and have 2 sons. After the birth of their second, Spears would file for divorce. Federline also claims that he caught Spears on the phone with her ex-boyfriend, Justin Timberlake, the night before their wedding. This is according to U.S. Weekly. As for Spears feels about the book, her rep tells Page 6, all she cares about are the kids, Sean Preston and Jaden James, and their well-being during this sensationalism. She detailed her journey in her memoir, if you remember correctly. This is according to Page 6. So, there you go. some stuff going on like always, because like I always say,
controversy creates cash.
So there you go. It is what it is, man. It just is. I know. That lazy saying people say, it is what it is. So there you go. Okay, what else you got going on? Jason Kelsey spoke about the fake quotes criticizing Bad Bunny upcoming Super Bowl halftime show that were allegedly from him. Taking to X, the former Eagle center wrote, unless you hear something directly from me, it's not real. He also refused to address the fake account, saying that he didn't want to amplify their engagement. This is according to the New York Post. So there you go. Okay, and some other news. One member of Canada's high society tells Page 6 that Justin Trudeau's relationship with Katy Perry is likely a bit of a midlife crisis. He's sowing his oats all over again. The insider said he's free from the ties of office in his marriage. Another source added that him dating someone famous isn't much of a shocker, as his father also dated a string of famous women, including Barbara Streisand and Kim Cattrall. This is according to Page 6. So there you go. I'm going to talk about this one. This is not something I normally would talk about, but let's talk about it anyways, because it kind of did make the interwebs. Kim Kardashian didn't hold back during her appearance on Wednesday's episode of Call Her Daddy podcast, talking about all things parenting, divorcing, and being a member of one of the most iconic families. When she was asked about the marriage to Ye, Kim said that the final straw for her was not feeling safe emotionally and financially, like how she came home one time to find out in the midst of one of his episodes that he gave away 5 of their Lamborghinis. Why would you need 5 Lamborghinis? Anyways, as how their co-parenting relationship is, Kim revealed that she hadn't seen or heard from Ye in months. So there you go. I guess if you want to know more, go watch the episode. Should we talk about this? Nah, let's get into our main story. It is 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so it seems like a good time to do that right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
You know, it's always an interesting time as you and I get to hang out. I will tell you, there is not a morning that goes by that I'm not thinking about this show, regardless of what's going on. It could even be the weekends, even though I know we're not on. I'm still thinking about what we need to talk about and what we need to address and the stuff that happens inside of, this little thing that where you and I are hanging out. And how you give me the opportunity to hang out with you, because that's kind of an important part. But with that being said, I always think about this show and think about the stuff that we're talking about. And then it kind of adds to me in regards to the stuff that goes on inside of organizations and how I'm constantly thinking about that stuff. When I used to work in an organization, daily going into a workplace. And it kind of made me start wondering, how often is your mind on work? How often are you thinking about some of these things that are happening? And I'm only asking this because it gets so interesting from time to time about the stuff that occurs inside of the workplace. And it gets so interesting in regards of our thought processes on how we, or processes on how we handle some of these things. And listen, I'm not saying, hey, we need to be diving into work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because that's not what I'm saying. But if you have relationships like I do, you have people that are constantly calling you, emailing you, talking about work that is being done. So if that's the kind of relationship that you have with your colleagues at work, I can only fathom that there's a good chunk of time, even when you're not at work, you're still talking about this. Listen, I know that there's some companies that say that there is no fraternizing outside of work. That's okay. I mean, depending on what kind of work you do and all that kind of fun stuff. But I look at it from the standpoint of, even when you're hanging out with people that you work with, there is always the common lingo of can you believe that X happened at work today? Can you believe that X is occurring? Can you believe blah, 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 blah? You get the point. So I look at it and I go, if you're constantly thinking about this, are you constantly trying to change what is going on at work? Are you constantly trying to delve into this world and go, okay, this makes the most logical sense with everything that's going on? Because if the answer is no to any of this, that's okay. Because should you be thinking about work all the time? Probably not. But if you are taking these big deep dives into work, are you going back and trying to change some of the stuff? Are you talking to the people that, I'm not going to say that can change it all, but there are people inside of your organization, depending on how your organization is structured, that truly can assist with all of the changes that need to take place. And I know it becomes a very difficult one to sometimes have those convos, but sometimes those conversations are needed. And where we get always hung up upon in regards of some of the stuff that goes on inside of the workplace is you have to be okay with other people taking credit. And I know that's not an easy pill to swallow for some, because some people want to be credited for their thought process and their work and so on. So sometimes you have to just look at the bigger picture. It's not about who did what. It's about how it's getting done in the long run. And here's where I kind of chuckle when I sit back and talk about this. Because I look at it and I look at some of the stuff that goes on, specifically with human and organizational performance, where people are trying to implant themselves in regards of, I was there at the beginning and this is what took place. Even though you can talk to some of the people that were originating some of this stuff and they have no clue what the hell you're talking about because you were never there. So if you're okay with what we would say not being credited, I think that would work out in regards to being able to change the workplace. But if you're in one of those positions where you have to have credit because you were looking one direction when things were happening, that way you can be on the list, this is probably not going to be the best conversation. So thinking about work the whole time and not trying to implement changes becomes extremely difficult. But at the same time, too, if you're constantly thinking about work and not anything else, you can understand where this could be a huge problem.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service Anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com. Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns, and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
More hits to help you work. Because to get rich, you gotta work hard.
Yeah, dude, like I just made so much money that I could just sit around on my ass all day and play video games.
Wait, I forgot about Dogecoin.
Dogecoin rules!
I just wanna give my
Okay, I guess welcome to the softer side of Safety FM and Radio Big. You are listening to the Rated R Safety Show as we are 45 minutes past the top of the hour, doing all the stuff that we get to do. So this little song that we're playing right now, this is Love You for a Day by Johnny Cantini. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. Yep. We would like to thank Johnny Cantini for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Always a good time as we get to play new music around here. No doubt about that one. So there you go. Anyways, let's get back into the move and the groove of the things that are going on. And if anything, this next thing that I'm going to tell you is probably the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. And that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. We want you to know that people have been where you are now and that things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. Once you get there, you'll see information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, and eating disorders, just to name a few. I'm going to tell you their information on that website could change your life. You can take a look at it and say, hey, maybe this is not for me right now, or maybe this information is something that you can use to help others. I know this is one of these conversations that's very difficult to have from time to time, but hey, the more that we take the stigma away from the conversation, the easier the conversation is to have. So they keep those things in mind as we are talking. For more information, TWLOHA.com, and click on the section that says Find Help. Anyways, with that being said, let's continue talking about some other things going on inside of the multiverse of ours. Take a listen to this. Targeted marketing. A new survey finds that Allen's Factory Outlet reveals that brown, red, and black cars are the most likely to get splattered by birds, while lighter shades like white and silver stay cleaner. It was found that nearly a quarter of U.S. drivers spend over $500 a year battling bird droppings, though the washes and paint repairs. Let's see, paint repairs with Tesla and BMW owners hitting the hardest financially. Scientists say that darker colors and reflective surfaces may draw birds, and parking under trees or power lines only worsens the risk. Increasingly, about 29% of drivers believe that birds personally targeted them. Experts remind you that covered parking or car covers can help prevent costly cleanups. Here are the top 10 most targeted car brands in order. At number 10, Toyota. At number 9, Ford. 8, Lexus. At number 7, BMW. 6, Tesla. 5, Dodge. 4, Nissan. 3, Chevrolet. 2, Jeep. And number 1 is Ram. How exactly does one become an expert on bird droppings? Live near a chip truck. Yeah, I know it's so bad in my area that my neighbors just ordered a seagull splatter color for their car. So just saying some things to think about. That is for sure as we are talking. I don't know. How do birds target cars? I have no clue. I mean, apparently you have to be some level of a scientist to have this discussion based on what we just heard. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. Always interesting as we start going down the path and talking about everything that is going on. No doubt about that. Anyways, let's talk to someone who will not be talking about bird droppings. At least more than likely will not be talking about bird droppings. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us a little bit about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Daniel. Dolly Parton said, "If your actions create a legacy that inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are an excellent leader." I love this. First of all, Dolly is amazing. She's such a kind-hearted woman with many successful ventures. She's given back so much because she used to be poor. She very much is a self-made woman, and her actions absolutely inspire others to dream. So she is living this life she's talking about in today's quote. She's an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and an amazing woman worth learning more about.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. If you're not a reader, you're depriving yourself of one of God's best gifts. A good book renews us in a way nothing else can. I'm not necessarily talking about weighty books that tax the mind, but insightful books that touch the soul. Books that give us a glimpse of life in both its tenderness and its tragedy. Books that put us in touch with God and our own life experiences. As far as I'm concerned, any book that can do that is worth whatever it cost. Lord Jesus, thank you for the many books that have enriched my soul and enlightened my mind. Bless those men and women who have poured out their souls to prepare food for us. Your holy name I pray. Amen.
If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Major airports across the United States have declined to play a video from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem at TSA checkpoints.
The video claimed Democratic lawmakers were responsible for the government shutdown and was deemed too political by airport officials. Airports in Seattle, Portland, Charlotte, Las Vegas, and several New York locations opted out of airing the video, citing concerns over neutrality. The decision comes amid heightened scrutiny of political messages in public spaces during the shutdown. Lawrence Keller reporting.
French Prime Minister Gabriel Attal announced a freeze on President Emmanuel Macron's controversial pension reform in a bid to save his administration from collapse.
Changes, including raising the retirement age, had faced fierce opposition and sparked nationwide protests. Attal's decision came after government officials met late last night in Paris to seek consensus. Unions hailed the move as a victory, while opposition parties called for further government concessions and upcoming parliamentary debates. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
A national strike in Belgium has caused major disruptions to public transportation, ports, and airports, with tens of thousands of union members taking to the streets of Brussels.
Protesters are demanding that the government reverse spending cuts and halt proposed reforms affecting workers' benefits. Delays and cancellations have been reported across key routes, stranding commuters and international travellers. The government urged calm while negotiations continue with union leaders as the strike's impact is felt nationwide. Benjamin Wright reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
A severe storm struck western Alaska over the weekend, bringing hurricane-force winds and a record storm surge that displaced more than 1,000 residents.
Local authorities confirmed one fatality and are still searching for missing residents in remote villages. Emergency teams have rescued over 50 people near Quigok and Kipnuk, southwest of Anchorage. Uprooted homes and widespread flooding have left communities facing significant damage and urgent recovery challenges. Kevin Sanders reporting.
The government shutdown in Washington has reached its 15th day, with lawmakers failing to make progress toward breaking the deadlock.
The partial shutdown has resulted in the layoff of more than 3,500 federal workers across 7 government departments. Some employees are relying on food pantries and emergency assistance while awaiting further news as Senate negotiators remain at an impasse. Kyle Norris reporting.
President Trump mistakenly referred to Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau as president, drawing widespread attention during a press event.
The comment was made while discussing ongoing U.S.-Canada trade talks and prompted some lighthearted reactions from officials. President Trump later corrected himself, assuring listeners that he meant prime minister and not president, as discussions between the two countries continue on trade and security issues. Liam White reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Some of the best things in life come to those who wait, but we ain't waiting for shit. Real big.
Okay, that sounds like an excellent plan. Let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. So let's go to it. Back in 2018, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle begin their first royal tour. The pair visited Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and the Kingdom of Tonga. They focus on youth leadership, environmental, and conservation efforts, as well as the recovery and rehab of servicemen and women through the Invictus Games. So there you go. That happened back on this date in 2018. If you're looking at some birthdays that are going on today, Naomi Osaka turns 28, Bryce Harper 33, Sue Bird 45, Ethan Luck 47, John Mayer turns 48, Wendy Wilson 56, Gary Kemp turns 66, Tim Robbins 67, Martha Smith 72, Bob Weir 78, Barry Corbin turns 85. Those are the birthdays that are going on today. If you are looking at some days of the year to celebrate, it's World Food Day, National Sports Day, Boss Day, Dictionary Day, Global Cat Day, Department Store Day, and World Spine Day. So there you go, some dates to celebrate if you're so inclined to do so. If you need a phone starter for today, I have one of those for you. What terrified you as a child that doesn't seem scary now? Maybe it should be the other way. What's scary now that didn't terrify you as a child? Okay, if you need a random joke for today, try this. Pre means before and post means after. Using both at the same time would be precarious. Think about that. Okay, if you need a question for the water cooler, try this. 17% of people did this in September and now they regret it. What is it? Ate all the Halloween candy. Yeah, for some reason, my wife decided to start buying Halloween candy in September and then tells me that I can't have any of it. I'm so confused. But why did we buy it then? Shouldn't we test it? Make sure that it's good? But no, it's a no-go. Anyways, that's it. That's going to sum up our time together at the top of the hour. I'll be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here on Safety FM and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus. Once he gets in, he will start talking about the world of safety consulting, and he'll go through all of that stuff if you're so inclined to hang out with him. So there you go. If not, over there on the other side, I'll be talking about the stuff on Radio Big about music and entertainment. That's what we do over there. Anyways, that's it. That's going to sum up our time. If I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. The fact that an opinion has long been held is no evidence whatsoever that is not utterly absurd. Think about that. It's one of those things to think about. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.